Hello everyone, interesting video for you today. Today I'm going to be discussing the Street League boost switch development and how I'm going to add a switch to my tx16s for a pedal, or a boost pedal. So let's talk about that. First thing I went about doing was I found a 3.5 millimeter audio jack from around my house, and I went about chopping off the end to expose the wires. So cut off that one end and ended up stripping the wires until I exposed the three colors on the other side. There was a red, a white, and a green cable. So the next step in the process was following back those traces to see where they line up to the bands on our audio cable here. It might be easier if I turn it this direction. So what you have to go ahead and do is use a multimeter. If you take your probes and you follow the cables, I was able to create a chart here. So there's three bands on the audio jack. There's a this one has the ground, so that is all the way down at the bottom. So I was able to trace that back to the white wire by measuring the resistance. Then there's a red one, and that went to the top band. The other thing is there's a green wire, but we're not going to use that. We only need a red and a ground. So that's that. The next step was you're going to, of course, need a female 35 millimeter jack. So yes, this one actually has four different, hold on, let's focus it. Four different probes on it, right? So I went ahead and I plugged this in here to our cable, and we're going to do the same thing. This time we're actually going to follow the trace back using the resistance, and we're going to measure. This is actually labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4, and what I was able to find here is that there was two ground planes. There was 1 and 4, and those both went to ground. And then I also found that red was number 2. Number 3 had no continuity between anything, so I would imagine that's what our green one would go to if we were using it. Yeah, so now if I go ahead and use the multimeter, and I take, let's say, I take this probe and I put it to our 1 or 4, where ground says it goes. So let's find that. This is number 4, and then I just need to find number 2 and put the red one there. Something like that. You'll notice it's an open until I close the circuit. Hold on. With our little test switch. Hold on. And there we go. Now we got a reading, meaning the circuit is now, closed. So that's how that works. Basically all I did was just took a keyboard switch and had soldered up our red and our ground to that. All right, one other thing I'd like to mention while I'm still here is there's two different types of audio cables that I've found in the process. I was digging around and I cut one in half, and the first one that I found was actually like this. So there's three different wires inside, but none of these actually have any like shielding, like silicone shielding or something like that. These are all just open, and I guess they're, they might be like enamel coated or something, but I wouldn't use this kind of wire. If you cut your 3.5 millimeter cable and it looks like this, I would just toss it out the door and not use it. I would use something that's got a wire coating similar to this. So, all right. Alright, so in this clip here, you just have me taking apart the radio. As you'll notice on the top here, I've already completed an internal antenna mod. So I'm just disconnecting everything. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to point out in a little screenshot here. There's on the left side of the tx16s main board, we're actually going to be using a port to add a new switch. So the furthest pin to the right is going to be the ground, and to the left is where we're going to put the red. So I'll circle that and basically have me gluing in the new part to the existing antenna hole. I'm going to solder up the wires to that pin 1 and 2 like I had mentioned before. And then we just have me connecting it to the JST connector and plugging into the radio exactly where I had mentioned before. That's all there is to it. Alright, finally there's a little bit of configuration necessary inside the radio, so we need to head over to the hardware tab, and then we're actually going to calibrate the SJ switch. So we need to go over to the SJ switch and change it to toggle. Then you can simply check if it's working by pressing the button on the switch's test mode. After that, all you need to do is go over to your inputs and mixes on your model and configure SJ as a valid switch. That's all there is. Alright, here's the final product and a little bit of a demonstration of how you would use it. So as you see, you have the 3.5mm jack. You're going to plug into the top of your radio, almost as if you're at the racing line. So go ahead and plug in, and with the step of your foot or the press of a button, you now have the SJ switch functioning on your channels monitor.